You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Well, it's Halloween time, and I'm here at the Disneyland Resort. And I should point out, just for shameless plug purposes, that I just came from Napa Rose, home of the Combat Quencher, for anyone who's interested. And I know you all are. Interestingly enough, we've left the epic Napa Rose, and now we've gone into New Orleans Square, which is supposed to be the most haunted part of the park. And with us to actually talk a little bit about that, or what's happened there, is a man known as Agent Q. Q, how are you tonight?
Doing great. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You've got a history with Disney that goes back several years, so you're established.
Yeah. I've been with the Disneyland Resort since 1999.
Okay, yeah, that's you put your time in.
Absolutely.
And we actually were talking off mic about some stories, different ghost stories that we've heard from different people that are the same story, essentially.
Yeah, I'll talk about the time I experienced something a little odd. I was a lead at the Blue Bayou restaurant, and at the end of the night, I'm over behind the kitchen, and the floor would always be wet because at the end of the day, it gets sprayed down and such. And while I'd be counting the money, this was pretty much every night that I was closing by myself, I would hear footsteps start walking towards me every night. And the first night I heard it, I kind of stopped and asked who was coming around, and didn't hear any response, and kept waiting, and so I just said, well, I guess I just...
That's the monorail going overhead right there.
Yeah. So I guess I just thought that maybe I was just hearing something. It was no big deal, just the restaurant settling down. And so I continued counting my money, and sure enough, I start hearing specific footsteps again, but going through like a wet floor. So I grab all my money and I put it back in the safe, lock it up real quick, and I start to investigate and see what's going on. So I walk around the corner, there's nobody there. I go out to the restaurant itself, there's nobody there. I go out to the front door, see if maybe it was somebody who was walking through, and realize that they're not supposed to be there, and try to run off, and the door was locked and closed as I remembered it. So I turned around and was like, okay, so there's absolutely nobody here, and I went back and started counting my money. When I started doing that again, the footsteps came back, and they started getting louder, and actually sounded like they were coming right towards me. So it was about 2 weeks of that going on every night when I was closing, and again, I kept stopping and looking and wondering what's going on. So finally, I went to a buddy of mine who was also a lead. So I asked him, do you ever have weird things going on late night when you're trying to close a restaurant by yourself? And he looks at me and he goes, so you hear them? And I go, yeah, I hear footsteps, if that's what you're talking about. He goes, have you seen them yet? And I said, oh, no, I have not seen him. And he goes, I got to tell you the story then. One night, he's counting the money over in that area, and he sees a gentleman, a slender gentleman in a classic suit and tie, approach in his peripheral vision. And the lead said specifically, sir, I'll be right with you. I don't want to hold you up. I'm just going to count this last few dollars, and I'll be right with you. Finishes counting, put the money over, and looks over to his left, and nobody is there. He got this cold chill up his back. He grabbed all that money, went to the back, threw it in the safe, did not count that money at the end of the night, and went home. So to this day, this person actually does not close the restaurant ever. He's an opener. He opens it up, but he will not close.
Because he refuses to do it.
He refuses to do it. He said after that night, he had issues sleeping. He had a really weird feeling about it, so he doesn't want to close there ever again.